Welcome back to the table. Pull up your chair. Let's talk about what you're worth. If I were to ask you, what's your worth? What's your value? What would be your first thought? Maybe it would be your value as a human being. Maybe it would be your value to someone, whether that's a spouse, a significant other, your family member, or your friends. Maybe your employer. What's your value there? Part of the reason why I wanted to do this channel so much was to address what our value is to society. Realistically, a well-lived life provides value to people around us. And the way that that works is through condensing value, the value that we offer, into the areas we most want to affect. Let me give you some examples. Over the years, my career consisted of a lot of high performance work. I found that I could get a lot done in a short period of time, and people valued that. My employers valued that. And because of that, I was always in demand. Because of that, I was able to advance. Because of that, people took advantage of me and held me behind, and I didn't realize it. What is your value? How do people see you in the workplace? What other value do you provide to society at large? See, the things that you do that are valued by society are the things that will pay you or the things that will reward you the most. What I mean by that is you see that engineers, doctors, nurses, lawyers are often continually paid the most when you look at the surveys. Why? Well, they offer very high value services to the general public, and as such, they are paid that way. What they can do for us, the way that they can change or maintain or save our lives is substantial, isn't it? Without them, we wouldn't have heart surgeries. We wouldn't have bridges. We would have a hard time with adoption. All of these things are high value to society. So when I ask, what's your value? Think about what you do on a daily basis. How does society see it and why? And how can you impact that? How can you make a difference? Are you a diamond in the rough? Or have you accepted maybe what society has told you about yourself? Your value innately as a human being will always be high. Your value, because of who God made you to be, will always be high. But how do you see yourself and why? What I've learned throughout my career was one thing. What I learned throughout my family and through friendships was another. My value to those people a lot of times would be based on what I could give them. My family, not so much. Of course, they loved that I provided for them a lot of my life, and they liked that I built into them and gave them time. But notice, my value based on me giving them time is not the same as what I can do for them. That was something that was high value to my family, and it was something that returned value to me. So when you think about what you're valued for and who values you and why, can you see a pattern? What I found over time was that my friendships often revolved around my hobbies or community givebacks, volunteer opportunities, my workplace. It was hard to find genuine friendship because people always wanted me to do something for them, not necessarily with them. There's a huge difference there, isn't there? I've still got people who will call me to this day. I used to work on cars a lot, and so my phone will ring and I'll look down and I can almost expect to hear a car question come from an old friend. That old friend hasn't called me in 3 years, but now their window won't go down and my phone rings. Meanwhile, I haven't really worked on cars much for the last 10 years. I've been working on houses instead. We've shifted gears, we've moved on. But this is sometimes what your value looks like to other people. How do you make it clearer that you're worth more? There's two ways. One is just to live your best life based on who you know you are. That means finding your niche, finding that place where you are the top contributor, where your skill sets absolutely shine, regardless of what that is. And you will be rewarded for it. There's no way around it. When you are in your element, you shine. The other thing is look at what society values. Figure out why. Figure out how you can slot into that value system. Now, that doesn't mean compromise, of course. But what it does mean is figuring out where you go, where you fit, how you fit, and how you can contribute the most in that role so that your value goes up. See, everything is a system. Everything. You can see the system in everything if you look hard enough. For me, that's part of what drove me to engineering. Yes, I could think that way. I had good math skills. My science wasn't as strong as you'd think. And what I didn't pay attention to is how I could translate technology for people who were not real technologically literate. And so when I started doing that, it really paid off. That was my niche. That was where I added immense value to the ecosystem, to the system itself. So where do you fit in the system? Why? How do you use how the system sees your value to your benefit? I'll leave you with that question today because I think it's a really important one. Till next time, thanks for stopping by.